Hello. Today we're going to talk about mixing. Specifically a course that I've been thinking about taking online for a little bit now, maybe a couple weeks, called 7 Steps to Pro Mixes at Home. Quite a few people have been asking about this. I want to know, is it a scam? I read the online forums before I wanted to sign up. I didn't want to get a billion emails. I didn't want to get, I didn't want to get tricked into having to pay for something or enter a credit card. So I went through the trouble, and now I'm going to give you guys a review of the course. And spoiler, there's some good news. So let's get started. All right, now for the good news. It is a sign up for a webinar, so you don't actually have to worry about, which time you pick and that it's going to run out of spaces, because in general, it usually has plenty of spaces. There are several times I was able to choose from one that was right after work, so it was easy to get on. I actually signed up fairly late with about 3 minutes to spare, and it still ended up working, and I still ended up getting in, which is pretty cool. And then you end up into sort of a waiting area. That's a webinar waiting screen, but there's a nice video there with Rob talking you through what the show is going to be about. But also another cool little benefit is the fact that on the right-hand side there's a download it now button for all of the content inside. In the video he says you'll have to wait till the end, but actually the button's available right there while you're waiting, so you can download and check stuff out. It is pretty easy. You're going to have to set aside a little over an hour, basically an hour and a half, and I do recommend you follow his directions and use headphones, because some of the stuff is relatively subtle, as you can imagine. Looking at things like compression or EQ, some of those things are going to be hard to pick up on computer speakers. But up next, let's talk about content. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to set you up with a framework. This is important. The reason why is because there's going to be a stress on discipline, and there's going to be a stress on following a certain set of steps, which you probably knew already. The second bit is he's going to go over some useful gear, some things that you're going to need if you're going to make pro mixes in the first place. I think that's also pretty decent advice. And then, of course, he's going to end up with the 7 steps. Now, I'm not going to go through the 7 steps here because I don't want to steal his thunder, and I actually think you should take this course. And the reason why is because if you're a beginner and you haven't ever done mixing before seriously, or you haven't really mastered mixing, there are quite a few things that he's going to show you in here that are really useful. He's going to go over basically good, just general context in how to set up your system and how to set up your environment. And he's also going to go over some basic gear that you think that you're going to need, and he's also going to go over a good set of plugins that you're going to use on a regular basis. And he's going to go through some specifics on how to use some of those in a way that's going to really help clean up your mixes, and he's going to show you some tricks, all of which I'm not going to tell you here because you should watch the show. As for drawbacks, I'd say the only drawback that I can think of is that some of the pieces are a little bit too long from the intro perspective, and of course he reads the slides, which is usually a no-no. All those things are forgivable, however, because I do believe that in general, if you are starting out mixing, this is a very good basic platform and basic sort of baseline that you can work from to get to the point where you can get much better at producing the music that you want to produce. And one day, hopefully, you'll be a full stack musician. Thanks.